Hi, my name's Ruth and I'm 38 years old. I was christened as a baby and I enjoyed going to Sunday school, seeing my friends and loved listening to the Bible stories, but I never really felt connected with God. I was a young carer for my mum who had multiple sclerosis and Dad had left us as a baby. I couldn't work out if God was so powerful and could perform miracles, why did he let so many bad things happen? Then at 22, I became seriously ill myself with a mixed connective tissue disorder and my body started attacking itself. It's caused chronic pain and fatigue, and by 26, I was permanently in a wheelchair. I couldn't cope physically or mentally, and I sadly used alcohol to black everything out. At 32, they found a new drug and combined it with physio twice a week. I managed to get into work, and I was in a long-term relationship, which should have been a positive thing, but he became abusive and was convicted for domestic violence in November 2016. After the verdict, I had a complete mental breakdown and I was gripped by fear and anxiety. I sadly used alcohol to cope again and I was on self-destruct and I ended up losing my job. I shut everyone out. Unfortunately, the alcohol with the medication for my illness meant that my body completely shut down, and in August 2017, I collapsed and was rushed into hospital. I had 2 blood transfusions and was put in critical care. My family were called in the night to come and say bye to me because the doctors didn't think I was going to make it through. Miraculously, I pulled through, and although I was diagnosed with cirrhosis of the liver, then after 7 weeks of being in hospital, I was allowed to go home. I was so grateful to have a home, my family and my close friends, and they helped me get into a daily routine. But I was still so lost and I didn't know who I was. Then in January 2018, my friend asked me to come to church and I did. There were so many people, but they seemed lovely, genuine and happy. The pastor delivered the sermon and I felt like he knew my whole life story. I felt very emotional and experienced the presence of God for the first time. I didn't know what it was at the time. I felt very calm, but I couldn't stop crying. Once I felt that connection with God, I wanted to know more and more about him. I was hungry to connect with him. In June, I joined a hosting team and that gave me a great sense of belonging, connecting with people before and after the service. And I also joined a Connect group, which has given me immense support and they've helped me answer all my unanswered questions. In September, I did Alpha and I learned how to hear God's voice. And in October, I stepped out of my comfort zone and went on a mission trip to Albania, which has got to be the best thing that I've ever done. I learned about God, about the church, and about myself. And here he guided me through the whole week, as I undertook new challenges, like praying out loud for people for the first time. I wanted to be fully committed to God and walk with him in his ways. So when I came back, I was baptised. This was the most defining moment in my life. My old life was gone and my new had begun. I was no longer a victim and I was a child of God. I used to be full of anger, resentment and bitterness, and I used to be gripped by fear and anxiety. But now I have calm and I'm full of inner peace. My heart feels like it's melted and overflowing for my love for Jesus, the church and life itself. I found a new identity in Christ and I know I will never be alone again. As my faith has grown stronger, so has my physical health. I'm now walking unaided and building up my distances, which is hard to believe because 12 months ago I was still using a wheelchair for longer distances. And not only that, in January this year I've managed to get back into full-time work and I've gone back to the Open University to finish my degree. Now, I couldn't have done either one of these things last year on their own, and now I'm doing both together with God's strength. I always used to think that there can't be a God as so many bad things happen. However, after coming to church, I now know this isn't true. There is nowhere in the Bible that tells you that life will be perfect when you become a Christian. Far from it, there are many struggles in there. What it teaches you is that you're never on your own. Now, not only do I have God in my life, I have a new family in the church who love and support me for being me. And I just want everyone to have God in their lives. God is awesome and amazing, and I just wish I'd have done this a lot sooner.